Assalamu alaikum. Let's record a video together, inshallah. Let's have a little chat. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. I pray that you guys are very well and in the best of health. I'm sure you know who I am as you're on my YouTube channel and you've looked at the funny little name that I've called this YouTube channel, and you've probably seen my face a number of times if you're up to watching this video. What we talk about today is I'm going to talk about reaching 20,000 subscribers, alhamdulillah. All praise is due to Allah Azza wa Jalla for all that is good in it, and and all that has been difficult in it. We praise Allah for the things that have been difficult in it as well. So in this video, I'll talk a little bit about that sort of journey. Because a lot of people, I remember when I started out on YouTube, I thought 20,000 subscribers. When I thought of that then, I was like, that is an empire. Like, I remember thinking 20,000 subscribers. Like, I do a lot of visualization, things that I'd like to achieve. I kind of visualize myself being in that position, and I talk to myself in the car. I say to myself, one is like, I'm a Hafid of the Quran, I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu, I'm a father, I've, blah, 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 like things that I would like, I kind of visualize. And I remember I'd sort of say to myself, I have 20,000 subscribers. And that was like a big, big goal that I had. But before we get into any more of the video, I'll do a shout out to my sponsors. My sponsors are Italki. I usually play a little video that I've pre-recorded, but in this video I'm not going to. I'm just going to kind of talk from the heart in a way about them, because they are actually a company that I use, and they are actually a brand that I believe in myself, and I'm actually a customer of theirs as well as a champion of their work. I'll put a little timer on actually, because there's an amount of time that I should talk about them for, inshallah. So iTalki are an online platform and an app that you can download on your tablet or on your phone or whatever, and they essentially provide you with teachers. So you can learn whatever language that you like. If you're watching this channel, you probably have some desire to learn a language of some kind. And they have teachers on there of all kinds of different languages, right? And even recently, the reason why I'm so keen on them is because they've recently started having Somali teachers. There is a Somali teacher on there now. And so those of you who want to learn Somali, you can go over to iTalki and you can learn Somali. You can even use my link that I put in the description for you to get $10 free. Okay, once you purchase your first lesson, you get $10 free. And I just believe in human beings, looking after human beings. I believe in that's just something that's valuable to me. Like when I teach Arabic and when I do any sort of transactions, like I just think that we should work with humans. I think actually the world's becoming quite lonely. I think people need to I think it's just nice when we keep the integrity of a human element of business when we're learning and when we're interacting and stuff like that. And obviously you learn languages to speak to humans, right? You don't learn languages to speak to a green owl. It's not a jab at Duolingo. Duolingo is pretty cool, right? But I'm on the iTalki side of the fence. That's all it is. So whatever language you would like to learn, I've talked about them for way longer than I need to, but it's just because I am actually a champion of their work, and I actually do think they're a really cool company. So we'll just get into what I was going to talk about then, for this video. So we have some questions. I did take some questions on Instagram, and we'll have a look at those, inshallah. But there are just some things that I guess I want to talk about, because this channel, a lot of you guys don't really know where this channel came from or why I started this channel, and there's especially there's a lot of young people, want to become YouTubers. Like I know when I was younger, everyone wanted to be footballers. I grew up in Cornwall, so we wanted to be rugby players. Rugby's bigger in Cornwall than football, and but now when I speak to people who are at school, they want to be YouTubers, and that's really dangerous. Actually, the reason why I started YouTube was because I saw how powerful it was to educate people about things in a way which is kind of like documentary style, or to educate people in a way which is more documenting something than creating something. I thought throughout my course when I was learning Arabic, I thought how insightful would it be? What an amazing learning resource would this be if I documented me learning? Like if I showed people, this is something I learned in this lecture today, or this is a little something that I came across today, or when I was in Palestine. Like if I was doing vlogs when I was in Palestine, how valuable that would have been for Arabic students. And I remember thinking that at the time, but I just didn't know how to use a camera. I didn't know how to edit a video. I didn't have the confidence to speak in front of a camera, right? And I even remember thinking about making a video, and I put on a camera and spoke in front of the camera, and I told myself then, Sam, you're just not really a good video person. Imagine that. Like if I just said, oh no, I'm not going to do videos anymore. my life is making videos now, right? Like, so that's kind of a message, a sort of thing to take away from it, right? That even if you think that something's difficult in the beginning, it might be the thing that's best for you. It might be the thing that you're actually really, really good at in the end. Even I, even someone like myself, I mean, in terms of a YouTuber, I've got sort of friends or brothers who I've met and I know who've got over 100,000 subscribers, right? And I'm nowhere near their level, but still, like, for someone who's not done YouTube to look at me, like I've had some achievement, alhamdulillah, in YouTube. So so I noticed that kids, they want to be YouTubers now. But the kind of point I'm making is that you should be a YouTuber if you really have a message. Like, for me, I was just documenting a learning process. For me, I thought that is more powerful than lessons. I think that my videos, like my early videos, where it's literally in a context. I'm in the kitchen. I'm like, look, my wife, she's in the other room. She's just waking up. I'm gonna make Somali tea for her, and I was like letting you into my life, into my kitchen. Like, I'm really learning real life how to make Somali tea. I've been married for 2 weeks to a Somali woman, and blah blah blah. And that was actually like real. And it was those things that I really wanted to share with you. And I don't think the channel now is as powerful as it was then because I'm not learning as much. Like, in the beginning, when I first got married, when I first learning Somali, I was learning so much, so quickly. And I think this channel will be its best if I put myself in that situation again. Like, if I put myself in a situation where I go to Somalia and I'm actually learning my way around Hamar and I'm learning my way around Hargeisa and I'm speaking to people and stuff, like, that is what I started creating YouTube for. That's what I started creating videos for. And, so I think... I don't know if the channel has been quite as powerful, except from the video with my mum. I think that was pretty cool, and obviously it was really popular. A lot of you guys liked it. So that's just some of my thoughts on YouTube. That's just some of my thoughts on finding what you're passionate about, and that's some of my thoughts on this channel, like where it came from and when I think it was in its heyday. So let's get into some questions, inshallah. Like, some of you had some questions on Instagram. I would actually do this live. If I had 2 tripods, I'd do it live so you guys could send more questions in. But let's get into some of the questions. Let's get into it. Cool. Let's find it. Okay, so question number 1. Are you visiting Somalia anytime soon? I've been asked this millions of times, right? But I understand why. Is because I should have been to Somalia at least once if I've got a YouTube channel called Sam of Somalia. Okay, but I don't have anything booked at the moment. I'm actually in the process of moving house at the moment here in the UK, so I'm busy with that, and I'm also so busy teaching Arabic. Like, I'm actually trying to build something, for my future, and try to build something that's a contribution to the Muslims as well with my Arabic program and stuff. So I'm just so busy with that at the moment. What do you like most and dislike most about Somali people? I like these questions, like I like questions that are like, what do you dislike? Because obviously it's sort of expected that we should say we like everything. Do you know what I mean? But that's just not real, is it? Like, it's not offensive to say that you don't like something. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is offensive to say that I don't like something about all Somali people, because it's very unlikely that all Somali people are of that thing. And if there was something like that, then that probably would be offensive. But, like, But I do like these questions, though, because it just brings out an honesty. I think, okay, I don't know if you watched my video on Britishness the other day, but I did a video about weddings, about the difference between Somali weddings and British weddings, and I'm kind of treading on eggshells about saying things that I don't like, or saying that something is better than another thing, because my people, like white British people, we have a long history of telling people that we're better than them, and frankly, it's foul. Like it's just wrong. Like my generation haven't been cleaning their bums properly for hundreds of years. Right, like how on earth can they go to another country and say their culture's backwards or something? Right, so I'm absolutely not saying that. All I would say, though, perhaps, is that I find Somali weddings difficult sometimes. That's all I'd perhaps say. Not all, but, like, sometimes. And even I think, like, religious Somalis find some wedding customs difficult. Do you know what I mean? There are some weddings where I just don't feel comfortable on a purely Islamic level. And that's not even just for weddings. Like, that's generally events. Like, events that are hosted by Somalis or not. I've been invited to some, like, quite big, high, like, what's the right term? Like, professional or highbrow or highly respected events, and I've said, no, I'm not coming. even though it would have been amazing for like my Sam of Somalia career, I've said no. So I suppose like that, but that's not even like a Somali people thing. That's just kind of like a world thing, really. So I don't know if that's a cop out, and I haven't really answered the question. But the question is also, what do I like the most? What I like the most is how Somalis, and this is like a blanket statement, and some people might even find it offensive, but like Somali people are just a little bit more rough around the edges sometimes. Like they're just a bit more abrupt and a bit more frank about things, and I actually really love that, and I actually come to really respect both men and women who can speak like that. So that's actually something that I like. Like that sounds like a bit of a backhanded compliment. The thing that I like about you the most is that you're rough around the edges, like it's like backhanded, but it's really not. Like because in my culture, I see among like white people, our children becoming so disrespectful to their parents. I see like our children having such like nowhere near enough boundaries. Like we have this expression or this proverb in English, which is something along the lines of like to spoil the rod to spare the child. Like you spoil. No, you spare the rod and spoil the child. That's it. That's the way around. So obviously in the UK, even like 30 years back, kids would be hit with a cane in school. That's how it used to be done. My dad got hit with a cane a number of times in school, and and if you would spare the rod and spoil the child, if you don't hit the child, then you're spoiling them. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you're sparing the rod. Like you're not going to damage the rod because you're not actually disciplining the children. And like Somalis, they don't spare the rod. Like it's not a comment about actually beating children. It's not about that. It's about just being stern. And I feel like a lot of cultures around the world, especially in the West, we have a lot to learn from the Somalis on maintaining more rigid and more meaningful sort of family structure and respect structure and things like that. The next question is just Man United? No, not Man United. I grew up with a real hatred towards Man United because some of my best friends around me, one of my real best friends, I miss him actually, a guy called Ollie. If you're listening, big shout out to you, man. I hope you're well. But Ollie, okay, so he was from Manchester originally. I think Frognall, actually. If any of you guys are from the north and you know what Frognall is, then put it in the comments just to make sure that I'm right. I think he was from Frognall. And just, he had this position that not only are Man United my favourite team, but they are the best team. Like completely objectively, they are the best team. And I just grew up, I just couldn't bear it. Like if ever on TV, if Man United did something so good, I'd come in the next day and be like, I was alright. Do you know what I mean? I just got this deep loathing for Man United. And it's not healthy, is it, to feel like that about any sport, because it's just sport at the end of the day. I don't support a football team. Or actually, like all good Muslims who have any association with London, I support Arsenal, if you want. Because I know my wife supports Arsenal, and it seems like in London, all good Muslims, or down in Cornwall, definitely down in Cornwall, in our Muslim community in Cornwall, it's like all good Muslims support Arsenal. Because I think like in Cornwall, a lot of our Muslims in Cornwall have moved from like the North London area. Pets. I don't have any pets at the moment. My wife won't let me have any pets yet. My wife said something the other day. I was like, oh, we should get a fish. Like our son Yusuf. He'd love it if we had like a pet in the house, if we had a fish or something. And my wife, she goes, oh, I can't look after a child and a fish. Like as if a fish is going to be like a whole new difficult thing. You feed it once a day. Do you know what I mean? Like she's and obviously we want more children, inshallah. Make dua for us, inshallah. We want more children. You know what I mean? And my wife saying, oh, I can't look after a baby and a fish. Which I thought was quite funny. So I'd like a fish. I don't have any pets. I would like a fish. Either a fish, or if I was to live in like my dream home in the countryside and have loads of fields, I'd like a bird of prey. Or like a big animal of some sort. That'd be awesome. Favourite car? I don't care. I don't care in the slightest bit about anything fancy, really, to be honest. Like, I care about things being practical. Like I would love a new car if it had a practical purpose. Like, if there was... I'm going to drink some coffee, actually. I made this coffee before, I'm going to clip this onto my jumper there, inshallah. Like, if there was a practical purpose for it, like, if the car actually improved my life somehow. But turning up in London and showing my mates, oh, I've got this car... probably on finance most of the time, but people drive nice cars around London, and like, do you know what I mean? Like that wouldn't make me feel good. Like there wouldn't really be a point in that. It's just Like, if it has a practical purpose, then cool. Like, yeah, fine, I'll have a new car. Bismillah. I don't have a favourite car. What did Arabic and Somali sound like before you learnt it? So that's quite interesting, because I just think how languages sound is interesting. Like, because I do remember when I first heard Somali, when I first arrived in London. Obviously, when you come from Cornwall, if those of you haven't been to Cornwall, Cornwall looks like, if you ever watched Lord of the Rings or something similar, or The Hobbit or something, when they go into like where the elves live, it's sort of like that, or at least the village where I grew up is kind of like that. It's like this sort of kind of quaint countryside with like roads that sort of do this, and there, it's all basically white people. And I didn't meet a Muslim until I was about 18. I'd been a Muslim for a while before I actually met Muslims. Imagine that. And I think I knew one black guy at school. Yeah, and I had one close friend who was half Indian, but like looked white, like and entirely culturally Western, right? Like, yeah, like you know, his mum was Indian, Christian Indians as well, so like closer to Western anyway. So I just didn't know people of any really other languages or cultures or anything until I became a Muslim and started looking for the Muslims. I had to come all the way to London to find the Muslims though. So when I first heard Somali, it was a little bit like I imagine you would speak if you had a mouthful of sand. It's kind of what it sort of sounded like to me initially, and yeah. So Somali sounded like that. The Arabic. But that's not something negative, by the way, about Somalia. Like, Somalia has like a sort of, it does just sort of have like a rough, as I say, abruptness about it, which I think is actually quite beautiful. And but Arabic differently. Like, the first Arabic I ever heard was with the Quran, right? The first Arabic I ever heard was me sitting in my room, you know, listening to recitations of the Quran that I didn't understand a word of. So that was kind of my first. So it was actually like a very eloquent introduction to Arabic. You know, a lot of people. Like their sort of first encounter with Arabic, or you know, supposedly Arabic or whatever, is like people see on the TV, you know, some subtitled, often wrongly subtitled, of like what some jihadis are saying or whatever. But yeah, so they sounded different. I mean, yeah, so that's that really. So those were all the questions that came in. I don't know if I didn't give you guys long enough time to send your questions in. I don't know. There weren't any more questions. So unless I think about something in a minute, then we're almost closing to an end. I suppose I want to, before we round it up, I want to just say thank you to you guys. I suppose, like, when you think about how many people 20,000 people is, it's quite serious. Like, that's quite a large number of people, right? Like, you wouldn't want them in your living room, and you know, it's quite overwhelming really to think that you know, obviously coming from the background that I have, you know, I catch myself sometimes, like, you know, sometimes like if I go to the masjid and I'm stood in one of the rows, or even like in Cornwall when I go and I do the khutbah and I lead the salah and stuff, like sometimes I catch myself sometimes and think, subhanallah, like how far we've come, like how far Allah has brought me, how far Allah has allowed me to come. And you know, it's really overwhelming actually, really humbling that there are a lot of people who want to look at my face and listen to the message that I've got to say. So going forward with this channel, I just want it to be beneficial for the believers, really, inshallah. As you guys know, primarily I'm an Arabic language teacher. The Arabic language is the love of my life, really. You know, like it was the key that took me into learning more about Islam. It was you know, the Arabic language is like I'm more comfortable reading Arabic than I am English now. Like, one of the biggest difficulties I had when I was at school was not being able to read aloud in class. Like, I remember, like, when you do drama and English literature and stuff, like, you have to read plays and stuff aloud in class, and I'd like sweat and I'd stutter and I'd breathe heavily and I just wouldn't be able to read aloud. And somehow Allah Azza wa Jalla in His mercy has given me a way to be able to read Arabic, you know, fluently. You know, be able to recite from the Quran fluently, be able to deliver khutbahs in Arabic fluently. And you know, that's such a ni'mah that I ponder upon all the time, and thank Allah Azza wa Jal for that. You know, and because of that, the Arabic language is you know, it means a lot to me. So that's why I'm focusing on it mainly, inshallah. And also the in terms of like business, obviously there's more people in the world who want to learn Arabic than there are that want to learn Somali. That's just the way that it is at the moment. But as for this channel, inshallah, I think I would like actually to reach out to my community and say, if you're a graphic designer or you're a videographer, or if you're just passionate about the Somali language and you would like to be part of it, then get in touch with me, inshallah. Email samofsomalia@gmail.com, and because I'd like to start building a team around the channel a little bit, and I'd like us to kind of brainstorm how do we serve the Somali community, or how do we serve the Somali language in the best way, and we'll bring something together, inshallah, and go forward and make something amazing about it. So that's everything. If you have any more questions that I didn't answer, that you'd like me to answer another time, put them in the comments below, inshallah. And take it easy, you know, keep on enjoying the videos. May Allah bless you guys, may Allah reward you guys. You know, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for all your support and for watching my stuff and for engaging with me on other platforms as well, you know, Instagram, Facebook. All of those of you who have recognised me when I've been out and about in, you know, Northampton or in Bristol or in my new home now in Northampton, you know, those of you who have recognised me when I've been out and about and you've made the effort to come over and say hello to me, that's meant the world to me too. So may Allah bless you guys. That's everything. I'm going to enjoy my coffee and we're going to sign out from this video. Subscribe if you want. Don't unsubscribe. It'd be embarrassing if I went to under 20,000 subscribers after this video. That would be embarrassing. But yeah, subscribe if you enjoyed it. And if you did enjoy it, don't forget to like and share it. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, as I mentioned. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.